On Maui's west coast, the town of Lahaina was the epicenter of wildfires that turned Hawaii's ancient royal capital into ruins. With around 2,200 structures destroyed, thousands of people displaced, hundreds missing, and dozens of lives lost. A paradise turned into ash. But how these fires started and what got them so out of control? Why many residents did not evacuate their homes until it was too late, making this incident one of the worst natural disasters in Hawaii. And how many more lives could have been saved if the emergency sirens that are spread all around the island had not remained silent is not what you think. On August 6, 2023, just 2 days before the fires broke out, the National Weather Service in Honolulu had posted this animation on X Twitter, as they had anticipated the potential for high fire danger. This forecast was based on the passing of Hurricane Dora south of the island, which would have caused a strong pressure gradient, creating strong winds, gusting at 80 miles per hour. Whether the initial fires were caused by lightning, downed power lines, or something else is yet to be determined. But Lahaina is one of the driest places in Hawaii due to being located in the rain shadow of the West Maui Mountains. Once the fields northeast of the town caught on fire, the strong winds spread the fire quickly and directly toward the residential area. But how come so many residents were caught off guard, even though various warnings had been sent out by authorities? Hawaii is surrounded by the Ring of Fire, which refers to about 450 volcanoes that produce 90% of the world's earthquakes, which in turn can create tsunamis. So not only are there various measuring devices to monitor for natural disasters, the Hawaiian Islands are also equipped with sirens to warn their residents in case of an emergency. In fact, Hawaii has the largest outdoor warning siren system in the US, if not in the world. There are about 410 sirens spread across multiple islands. But these sirens were never activated on August 8, 2023, when the fires burned down parts of the island. The sirens are battery-powered and equipped with a solar charging system. They also have redundant cellular satellite communications. On the first working day of each month, the sirens are tested exactly at 11:45 a.m. This helps identify any defective sirens, which are then repaired to ensure they will work when needed. No one has yet provided an exact reason why the sirens were not used on the day of the fires, but there are some speculations. A Hawaii Emergency Management Agency spokesperson suggested that it was largely a function of how fast the flames were moving. They were trying to coordinate response on the ground, and they had already issued other alerts. Which is true. 3 other public warning systems were used to notify the residents. This included wireless emergency alerts that were sent to cell phones, broadcasts through radio and television stations, and finally, alerts that residents can sign up for to receive updates through a local emergency alert system. But if warning messages had been sent out, how come many residents were caught off guard, leaving their homes too late to make it to safety? Even though some residents reported having received warnings, they were not the type of alerts that make a loud sound on your phone even if it's silent. In addition, not everyone had received the warnings, either due to poor cell phone coverage, lack of access to cable TV, and possibly because by the time the alerts were broadcasted, power and communication systems had already been down in some areas, most likely destroyed by strong winds and fires. In addition, the Maui Fire Department had declared the Lahaina brush fire 100% contained shortly before 9 a.m. on the day of the fires, and this had been communicated on County of Maui's Facebook page at 4 p.m. But the fire clearly got out of hand. It's not surprising that there is much outrage about the sirens not having been activated, and understandably so. The sirens could have warned people and saved more lives. But it's also possible that they could have caused confusion, and that's based on the very history that brought these sirens to Hawaii in the first place. In 1946, a major tsunami in Hawaii killed nearly 160 people. After that incident, sirens were added to the island to warn residents about imminent natural disasters. The sirens were set up with the ability to produce different tones depending on the type of emergency. But in 1960, when another major tsunami hit the island, many residents had no idea what the particular siren sound meant and what they needed to do next. This contributed to the death toll. Since then, the siren only makes a single steady tone regardless of the type of emergency. This is only meant to get people's attention, so they would turn on the TV, listen to the radio, or check their messages in order to know what's happening and what they need to do. But instead of sounding a siren, why couldn't they broadcast a message with instructions? Wouldn't that be more helpful? The original sirens did not have an electrical speaker. What made the sound was a rotor powered by an electric motor, which upon spinning, blew the air out of a special housing. That is what generated the famous siren sound. So of course, no messages could have been broadcasted on those sirens. But newer sirens are essentially just loudspeakers, and they could be used to broadcast a verbal message. The challenge, though, is that sound levels diminish with distance, making the message incomprehensible. This is known as the Charlie Brown effect. In addition, presence of other sounds in the area could make it impossible to understand what is being said. For reference, this is what talking into a megaphone sounds like from a helicopter. But there are special devices that are designed to communicate messages clearly over a long distance. This is a long-range acoustic device, or LRAD, and performing the same helicopter test with LRAD,
this is a test of the long-range acoustic device, LRAD.
The difference is undeniable. This is why the fire department at Mill Valley, California, upgraded their old sirens to LRADs. This way, in addition to alerting about an imminent danger, they can also communicate messages and instructions to their residents. Hawaii has also had a history of false alarms in recent years. In the morning of January 13, 2018, an alert was accidentally issued over television, radio, and cell phones in the state of Hawaii, instructing citizens to seek out shelters due to an incoming ballistic missile. It quickly turned out that the message had been sent out by mistake. Of course, everyone was relieved to find out that their lives were not coming to an end. But they were also outraged to have been put into such a stressful situation. Then, on September 18, 2019, emergency sirens went off for a potential tsunami threat in Oahu and Maui, which also turned out to be a false alarm. All this said, activating the sirens would have undeniably reached more people who were not notified by other means of communication, and this could have possibly made them more alert to what was about to happen. Many residents evacuated their homes when they saw smoke, which was already too late. The streets were flooded with cars, many of which didn't get to leave in time. As of August 17, 2023, only 9 days after Maui's wildfires, 111 people have been confirmed dead. This is while 75% of the burn area is yet to be searched, which will inevitably increase the casualties even more.